It's that Tru Chronicles, it's that Tru Chronicles. Yeah, we on here talking shit, we on here talking truth, we ain't telling no lies, we speaking all this guys. On that Tru Talk, on that Tru Talk, the Tru Chronicles, the Tru Chronicles. Just talking shit, just talking shit, just talking shit, What's going on? Like, I hope your day's been going good. Hope all is well. Hope you've been taking care of yourself. First off and foremost, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Tru Chronicles. I'm your host, Dre the Truth, and welcome to episode 3. And before we start the episode, I just simply want to say, if there's any new listeners, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, and feel comfortable to stay as long as you need. This is a very free, mellow, relaxed podcast where we talk real shit. We're transparent, judgment-free zone, and this is really a place where stress isn't allowed. It's not even allowed inside it. Kick the shit off at the door, come in, feeling liberated to be all of your greatest and your fullest self. And that's what we strive for here. So I hope you stick around and, don't feel as though that you don't need to, you don't need to be anything of but yourself, always and foremost. And in this episode, we getting real heavy. We diving deep. This is a very deep intellectual, topic that I want to just dive deep in. So, roll up, get your drinks, and we're gonna get straight into it, and that's very important, very important. So the topic that I want to really just bring forth into just like speaking on and diving right into, is love hard to be, is love hard to come by? And see, for me, I feel as though love is very saturated in a way, and what I mean by saturated, I feel like that love is just, what can we say about love? I mean, it's a blossoming effect, it just happens to blossom itself right up. Like, once the word is said, I mean, you're head over heels whenever you hear the word love. Like, love isn't a disappointing word. But I feel as though when the word is said so much and it's not anticipated to really be said at the right moment and felt for, that's when I feel like love is the downfall. So, what do I mean by it? Is love hard to come by? I mean, when you look at it from the perspective of what love truly means to you, or when you come across somebody else, in order to really genuinely have love in this world for someone else, it must come from where? From you. See, you're the projection of love. See, the projection of love, it starts from in your square. It starts from within. So if you're not right within, how can you be right without? And I feel as though a lot of the L word gets shared around so much, and we don't analyze it fully enough to say it when it's called to say it at the right time, or right moments, right occasions, but instead sort of use it as a way to, get what we want just get what we want for the moment, or grab what we want that we're attentive to, or we have a strong attention towards. But is it really love? I mean, I could say that I love you, but will my actions show it? Will I be present enough to actually stand on the love that I have for you? Because if I don't, then it will just simply be me saying it, but not me really deliberating it in flesh, deliberating it in the physical. So a lot of where love lies is where it has to be interpreted from within. You have to feel it from within, and you have to know thyself. You have to know who you are. You have to give a fuck about you before you give a fuck about somebody else. You feel me? It's the fact that love is so strong. It's charismatic. It's passionate. It's a raw fest. It's very divineful. But love has its downside when it's used wrongfully, because we use love as a means to just have our needs fulfilled. You want somebody you love, so you tell them you love them. You want somebody to call you because you want somebody that you want. You tell them you love them so they can call you. You know, you want a companion. You want somebody that's there for you, so you tell them you love them. But what do you really love about this person besides what they give you? But do you have that for yourself? Do you have love for yourself? Is the real question. Because love, it can be given away easily. I mean, you can tell somebody that you love them 1,000 times over. But what you're doing is pouring more love out of yourself. So that's more love filling them up. But what about the love for yourself? And what plays out immensely is that love can be hard to come by because everyone really is a stranger to love. Even myself, you know, before the life I had, you know, before I awoken, and I started to reflect with myself more, which I'm still reflecting. I'm not anybody who knows anything. I'm no different than you are, you know. But the individual that I was when I was in a situation with somebody that I loved, it was still parts of myself that I didn't know. Heavy parts of myself that I didn't come to change for the better. Parts of myself that I didn't give her every bit of me. I felt as though like me telling her that I loved her, me telling her that, you know, everything that got her to stay, everything that got her to see that I care for you, I appreciate you, but I didn't push forth enough to really reveal that love in a way where she felt it. You know, I was a closet, you know, nympho. I closeted a lot of my emotions. I barricaded myself to where she saw who she saw, but she really didn't see what she saw. Excuse me. You feel me? Like, she didn't really know what love really was. Only what was pretending to be shown. Because that's a hard thing to do, is really open up and be real with somebody that you're with. Because even those who are in a relationship and with somebody, you still closet emotions. You still closet yourself because you still have a sense of pride. And no one likes to be vulnerable. You'll be vulnerable to a certain extent, but not all the way. And this isn't to those who are in check, or they have, self-love, and they reflect with themselves to know how to open up. But this is more to those who still struggle with not opening up, not revealing, not showing that I can take a step forward, or I can take that leap to show you all of myself with no doubt that even if there was the slightest bit of me getting hurt, I can't be hurt because I know who I am. I know my truth, and I know that my love will always be pure because I get love. And seeing where you get love, it makes it more easier for you to be with somebody that will be able to be in a relationship with you and come into union to then have that bond be made. Because it won't be any struggles, it won't be any pushing forth, or it won't be any tugging and pulling. It'll be a simple motion of flow. Because understanding to know that even if this person must leave you, it won't be the worst thing in the world. Because the soul, the spirit, it will indulge in it just being another experience. An experience that it grabbed, it learned a lesson. We're here to grow in lessons. Sometimes the lesson marks its end period, to where you come across your final lesson that you pass, and this is the lesson that led me here to this point of my life, where now this is the end result for me. There is no more lessons after this, because I didn't found and passed the lesson and came across somebody that literally unifies me in soul and spirit, which ultimately leads you into that love that cultivates itself. But knowing until you find yourself in a space, love will be an ultimate lesson of where you go through multiple trials and runs with different people, to where it's not the same. And that's where I was. I was in a relationship with somebody who I thought I knew myself. I thought I loved her. I thought I could be everything she wanted for me to be, but I didn't know myself. I didn't know myself, and I tried so very hard to be everything that she wanted me to be, but I felt like as though like I was masking myself to be something that I wasn't, because I can't force something that I'm not, but I also can't pretend to be something that I'm not either. Love isn't about pretending. It's not about forcing. It's about getting. You have to get love. You have to grasp it. You have to realize it. It's not complicated, but it doesn't need to be fast. It doesn't need to be immediate. It needs to be understood to know when it's right for love to be love. Outside of that, and it's very touching, because just looking into relationships now, and those who are in relationships and who have been in relationships, it's love can be very difficult at points and times in life. For those who they didn't marry their sweetheart, been with somebody since program school days, So the fact that you're with somebody that you consider the love of your life How can somebody that you love, that's the love of your life, still get you mad, get you upset, have you frustrated, feeling these mixed emotions? I don't think that if a person that you love, a person that you care for, would want to make you stressed, would want to make you mad, would want to dig deep to ruin the experience of your love life. Making the experience is the pivotal point of gaining the best experience within love. You want to expand to know how enjoyable it is to come across another soul and spirit who shares and indulges in the same as you, that see you as the I. Not running away from self, but coming in communion and unity with self. Anything other than that is an ego of enemy. It's a further of separation. So is love hard to come by? It's the question. What does love drive in you? Does it drive you to want to be single because love is too complicated? Does love drive in you to want to be in love because you don't want to be, because you're afraid to be alone? Does love drive in you to be antsy, to be fast, to rush into a relationship and not really understand and know who you are first? Are you quick off on the draw when in a relationship with somebody, and quick to say I love you when you barely even know the person? I was there. I barely even knew this person that I was with, and I said I loved you, because we hear it so much. We say it to our family members constantly. I love you, I love you. But then they had the same family members that turn around and cuss you out after you just said I loved you. So it's like, what are we missing? What are we not grasping to realize with? Love it's an innate, naturalistic feeling that intensifies what we feel inside. It's a liberating and enlightening feeling. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. And the feeling alone is a feeling that is a step in which we must educate ourselves on more and more. Self-love is so important. Why? Because you'll never have to feel alone. You'll never have to feel antsy. You'll never have to rush. You'll never need for love, because you are love. And love runs within you. And since love runs within you, everything outside of yourself will sort of, you will attract everything to yourself like a magnet. Everything will come and attach itself to you, making it less complicated. But how can love be really found, or how can love be come by if love is taken out of context to where it's not really known upon in the way of spirit, in the way of soul? Just because somebody says they love you does not mean they really love you. What you hear is what you hear. But the soul here is different. The spirit here is different. Because the soul and spirit knows. The magnetism of the soul gravitates to what really is meant for the soul. And the spirit aligns to that answer. Love is everlasting. It's everlasting. But what takes love and puts it into a seat of less complication is when it's seen correctly and seen right. And for those who are sitting in the seat of correctness, sitting in the seat and choosing to put the love on themselves, take a step back. I mean, shit. If you done relationships for about 8, 9, 10 years, don't you think it's about fucking time you take a seat and fucking put some self-love on yourself? Leave the dating scene alone for a little while. It's okay. It ain't going nowhere. But you obviously moving to the dating scene and seeing everything that you done been through and went through, it's not necessarily something that is there for you to keep doing. You gotta be different. You gotta switch it up. Self-love is where it's gotta come in now. So it can be less harder and more easier to come by. Well, look, this was a very good episode. Another good one. And I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode, okay? I want to give gratitude to you and all those out there on the self-love journey and really putting that self-love on themselves, okay? I want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Tru Chronicles. I'm your host, Dre the Truth. Sit tight, all right? Because we have the instrumental of the day, all right? And I just want you to rock out with me, jam out. We're going to shut this bitch out, close it out, all right, with the instrumental of the day. And we're going to just leave out on that point, all right? So, till next time, take it easy. 1.